contacted by phone by law enforcement advising of a warrant.
You hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week on the big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on your easy choice for soft hits, 95.9 FM WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Lisa Sheppard, Facilitator of the Sangamon Valley CEO program. Good to see you, Lisa. How are you?
Doing well. Good to see you as well, Seth.
Yeah, thanks for racing up from Bement to be with us today. I know the kids were down in Bement. What were they doing there today?
So today we had a class day. We have students from Argenta, Bement, Cerro Gordo, DeLand, Weldon, and Monticello. So we always meet in a business, never in a classroom. So when we have our classroom days where they're working on their class business project or their individual business venture, we have some lovely local businesses who let us use their conference rooms so that we can stay in a business setting for those. So we were at State Bank of Bement in Bement this morning in a conference room that they so graciously let us use a couple times a week.
Do you have to find one of those like for every classroom day?
So for our quarters, we usually do it quarterly, and they usually let us use their conference room for the quarter. So like for us, we use Wells and Gabarzik, and then Top Flight Green, and then State Bank of Bement, the Village of Argenta, and the Village of Cerro Gordo, all are our lovely site hosts throughout the year.
There you go. Very good. What are we working on right now?
We are moving into individual business. They just did their individual business pitches last week.
How'd that go for them?
Went really well. They were really well prepared, worked really hard on that. They have to come up with an individual business venture that they will do in the spring semester, which culminates in a trade show. Ours will be May 4th. So first time for a Monday night, but we're looking forward to giving that a try. It was the only date we could find with so many different schools, but I digress.
Kids and activities and all the things.
All the things, But yeah, so their individual business starts with giving a pitch to the board on what each student is going to do.
Yeah. So what they do, they basically, it's almost like a Shark Tank setting, right?
Correct. And then, so the money that they earn for their class business, they can, each program does it differently. Our program does it where they can then put together a pitch. It has to include their numbers, what they think they are going to need to fund their project. And then they state their why and their case and what they're doing. They have to have a prototype of what they're working on and pitch that to our board. And then a committee on our board awards grants based on those pitches and based on the funds that are in the pot from the class business venture.
Sure. So is it like Shark Tank where it's like sight unseen commitment of a certain amount of money?
No, not so. The reason we will do kind of more of a fish tank, Shark Tank venture in April. We wanted our board to be the one to distribute those funds. So we kind of do it in reverse where the board hears the pitches and then will take a day to assess those and see where their pitch merited what their ask was and if that made sense. And then they will award them what is a grant. So we don't write them blank checks.
Right. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. But I didn't mean like, I guess I meant where like on Shark Tank, the guys will be like, I'm going to commit this to you for your business. I didn't know if that was how it worked or not.
It does. But yeah, it comes a couple of days later in a letter. But yeah, based on that pitch, they do get their business funded or not. And then the nice part of it is it then protects the program as well and gives them some great accounting skills. They have to keep all the receipts and turn that in to show how they have use that money to fund their business, and then they get a grant reimbursement check.
Sure. Well, let's step back a little bit and take us back to the first semester, because you mentioned depending on how well their class business venture goes, that then funds their individual business. So how did their class business go? Remind us what your kids did.
My students did a gingerbread jug 5K out at Allerton. They had 150 participants, and really did a nice job of putting their own spin on what the class had done before. So getting some momentum from that, and then adding a lot of extra things. They did really well and were able to fully fund their grants for their asks in the second semester.
Great.
So which is really what we like to see. And then the best part that comes out of it is they really did a nice job of learning to work as a team. And there's always some fun conversations as to what they're learning. And wow, it's a lot of work behind the scenes. Like things don't happen magically, and some skills on how to contract for a service and how to pay that service, and all the things.
Yeah, sure. So I know in first semester, and if you want to elaborate on it, you can, but there's a lot of like soft skill learning. There's a lot of just general skill learning, how to put together a business, all of that. Are you still in those lessons in the second semester, or is it strictly down to site visits and hearing from business owners, and then the rest of your time is spent doing that individual business? What's the second semester breakdown like?
It's a little bit of both. The beauty of the site visits is that most of them give them the information and the foundation that they need to be able to accomplish their class business and their individual business. And it is a learn by doing. And half the time we wish we had that lesson a little bit sooner. For example, we were just at SimTech last week, and it was a couple days after their board pitches, and it was on cash flow. And Tommy Ayers, their CFO, did a really nice job of teaching them cash flow by showing them graphs of projections. And a lot of our students in their board pitch do just the numbers, like no graphs or no visuals of numbers, because we don't really know how to do that. And there were several in their journals who commented, and we always recap the week at the end of the week, who commented, I never thought of that, and that's a much better way to do it. And if I had to do that pitch again, I would do a graph or do something more visual with my numbers. So they're learning in real time and applying it.
Yeah. Can I ask something? How much is it's funny, Ben and I were just having this conversation about how AI could maybe make our workspace a little more efficient. Do you discourage AI use in your classroom? Do you let them, use AI for ideas or for help in putting together presentations? How has that played an impact in your setting?
That is a great question. And we really encourage them to use AI as a tool. We brought in Julian Shields from Milliken, and she does a great session on how to use AI as a tool. That you don't want it to use it to plagiarize or teach or make those type of things. But then how do you ask it so for example, in a business setting, I want to do XYZ business. What are the legal licenses and everything that I need for my business? I need to set this up on a timeline between now and May 1st. What do I need to do when? You can get an AI a really quick and now you still have to assess, is that logical? Does that make sense? And then put the execution tools to it. But AI can really help in a tool in that type of setting.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting stuff. Okay, so back to the kids and their individual businesses. Again, Lisa Sheppard is the facilitator of the Sangamon Valley CEO program. Where are they at in terms of getting their individual businesses ready? They've got the funding now, it sounds like. So where do we go from here?
So now it's execution. From now until May 4th, they will have a banker day on March 11th, where they'll talk to 2 bankers and make sure their numbers are sound. They will do a fish tank presentation where they make sure they're ready to present to large groups of people. And then in that, they are producing, they're making websites, they're making their product, they're procuring their product if they are reselling product. Those are the things that they're working on right now.
Gotcha. Very good. Again, remind us the day of their trade show. When is that and where is that?
We are May the 4th. It will be at the Monticello Community Building, which is the old Allerton Library. And that will be from 5 to 7 p.m.
Very good. So how do folks learn more about that event and just the Sangamon Valley CEO program?
We are SangamonValleyCEO.com, or if you want to know more of the day-to-day, where are they at on all these site visits, our Facebook page is a great place to look at that. And we're Sangamon Valley CEO on Facebook.
Very good. Again, Lisa Sheppard is the Sangamon Valley CEO Facilitator, our guest in studio this morning. We'll come back, talk some recruitment efforts that the chapter is going through right now. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
And meaningful developments.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans higher, wheat steady. March corn up 429.5. May corn 442.5, up 2 3/4. December new crop 465.5, up a penny. March beans up 4 1/4, 1141 3/4. May beans up a nickel, 1158 1/4. And new crop November 1122 1/4, up 7 1/4. March Chicago wheat 575, up 1 1/2. May wheat up a penny, 579 1/4. July wheat 587, down half a penny. March bean meal 308.60, down $1.20. March bean oil 59.74, up 82 cents. Livestock trade, February live cattle 246.75, up 17 cents. March feeders 368.77, up 75 cents. April lean hogs 94.20, up 52 cents. You're listening to the RFD Radio Network.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. It's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Lisa Sheppard is the facilitator for the Sangamon Valley CEO program, our guest in studio today. We mentioned recruitment, Lisa, is underway. What does recruitment look like for your kids right now?
We just closed our application process on February 15th, and references were due yesterday. We're having a few technical difficulties, so there's a few trailers and figuring that out on the back end. But we are in recruitment season and had a really great recruiting effort. The students go out and talk to all the juniors in all of the districts. And then it's a blind application process from there. And so we've got a really good class to choose from. It will be the first time we're bumping up against numbers kind of greater than we can accept. So it's going to get really competitive for the good and bad this year. But looking forward to a great class next year.
And how many do you have this year?
This year I have 12.
Okay.
Yep. So the number will go up from there, and
that's great. Your chapter just continues to get bigger and bigger every year. That's really great.
It does. Yeah. We've experienced some really nice growth, and
good.
Like I said, the students did a great job with their recruitment efforts. And
do you feel like your kids are having fun, and that's showing in the hallways when they're coming back from your class, and I shouldn't call it a class, from your program? What do you attribute that to? I guess I don't know. What do you think? I
sure hope so. And what I love is that they write a journal entry every week, and you get to see their growth. So I think that exudes its own energy once they get back to class every day, and they're talking about this great place that they learned all these great things from every single day. And, can't attribute that enough to our local business communities. And we just have some great leaders and great people in all of our smaller communities around here.
One of the fun things about what we do is we get the opportunity to talk with, like the parents of kids in sports, like yourself or others, or just even, I know for the Central Illinois CEO kids, I know some of the parents of the kids in the program now, and it's they just rave about not only the program, but the experience their kids are having. And they say they're having a good time. And they say it's one of their most fun classes that they participate in. So I think there is that element there of they are having a good time in this.
Yeah. And what's great is they're working really hard and they're learning a lot and they're having fun doing it.
It's amazing what you're doing. Like, not what you're doing to them, but it's amazing what they have to do in this program. And to have fun with that along the way is really a tribute to you and Melanie, I feel like.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So recruitment, you mentioned close February 15th. When will those kids know if they are into the program or not?
We have a board meeting the second Tuesday of the month. So that's the second Tuesday in March. I'm not going to quote a date without a calendar in front of me. And the board will approve the final slate, and then we do it via letter. So letters will go out and they should find out within that next week. And then we'll do a Facebook post after those letters have about a week to disseminate.
Is there an interview process at all with this or anything like that?
Currently, there is not. It's a blind application.
That's right. You said that. I'm sorry.
So, no.
I can pay attention better.
Well, and I think that's a great part of it, but it's also very different than a lot of applications where the names are all redacted off the form. So it's really based on their personal statement as to why they want to be in CEO and why they'd be a good fit. And then they have to have 2 references to vouch for them as to, we really need kids who are motivated, hardworking, and trustworthy because they do a lot and we trust them with a lot.
And they're a part of the team, and those are characteristics you want in a team member, right?
Yes, exactly. So those qualities really shine through from what the references say. So there's a lot of weight put on that as well.
Thinking out loud, I could be wrong. I felt like Melanie's group was like early March was their cutoff. Is February 15th early for your kids or for your chapter?
We always do exactly a month. So we do from January 15th. The start date kind of depends on when we start recruiting, but we always open it at the start of recruitment. And then we are going to always end on February 15th because then it's a hard, fast date. I only have to print my banners once. And and really it falls when depending on the schools and when they schedule students for the next year. All of my schools have to have that knowledge right around the first part of March. So Melanie's schools might be different in that.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. I was just curious.
The
reason I wanted to talk recruitment is I thought we had a little bit more of a buffer, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this time of the year, I know you're also thinking about investors, correct? Yeah. What does that look like right now?
So each of our programs is not only do our local businesses host the sites and all of that, but it is funded by local investors. And each investor is asked to give a $3,000 donation over the course of 3 years. So $1,000 a year for 3 years. That allows our students to have this amazing experience and growth opportunity. And we're really grateful for all our investors do.
Sure. How does one learn about becoming an investor real fast, Lisa?
Again, SangamonValleyCEO.com has all that information on there, and you can click our links and
check out it.
Yeah.
Check it out. Very good. Lisa, always good to see you. Thanks for making the trip over. Lisa Sheppard, facilitator of the Sangamon Valley CEO program, our guest in studio. Network news on the way.
The Big 1520, WHOW Clinton.